As Adam mentioned, my name's Nick Owens. I've been a sales engineer here at Bezlio. I've been working on Bezlio for about 2 years now. So today I'll be kind of just showing off some different bezels that we've done for customers or different demos that are different possibilities that we can do with Bezlio, kind of with a sales focus. So we'll start things off with those exciting KPIs that everyone loves. And, Bezlio, you can really do anything with Bezlio. And there's so many different platforms that do KPIs, but Bezlio, you can also do KPIs along with different accounts views or map views in Bezlio. So it makes Bezlio that one-stop shop for your sales team or anyone really that uses Bezlio. So here we got some basic ones. We got summaries, we got some numbers, and then we have like a top 10 customers. Now, we have, I think it was mentioned before, that in the account itself, you can set custom properties to only use certain queries for that user. So in the custom properties, you can set a salesperson ID, so it'll only pull in that person's customers. So this top 10 customers can be salesperson specific. Kind of moving on here, there's not too much to talk about KPIs. You'll kind of see a little bit more in a couple minutes here. But one of our big bezels, I'm sure you guys heard our salespeople talk about it, or if you guys are using it, is our accounts view. So this has gone through some facelifts in the last year or so, and this is a mobile-friendly version here that I'll show you using a local version of our mobile app. If you guys can't see it, let me know, and I can definitely blow it up. But for our accounts view here, now this is something a sales an on-the-road salesperson can use. It will list a bunch of information about their customers. It can help them find information about their customers. And so this is all, we make it in a way that you guys can replicate or you guys can customize. That's the big thing with Bezlio. Yes?
I didn't even ask this question already. I forgot. It's been slipping my mind. How durable is the session on mobile devices? Like how often is the user going to have to log in?
So you can do a remember me, but if you do minimize the app, you will stay logged in, so you won't have to keep logging in. Kill it. If you do a remember me, it will save your login, and once you open it again, it'll just load up Bezlio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's pretty durable, yeah. And I think tomorrow there's a couple presentations about mobile, so that they might get a little bit more into depth into that one. Yeah. So for the accounts view here, we just have a basic list, and this list is filterable, and you can page it. It has all the basics, and it's meant to be an ease of use thing here, just so your on-the-road salesperson can just find a customer and look up some basic information. If we click on here, Ace Molding, it's going to pull up a little bit more information. It's going to have an address, and if you click that address, it's going to open up a page to navigate. Now, while you're on mobile, it's going to open up like a Google Maps or an Apple Maps, depending on what or OS you're using. So all these, this, like I said kind of before, is everything we build here is meant to be customizable. So these banners here, we can easily put in another banner if you guys have more information or things like that. We leave it generic enough so we can give it to customers, so it's kind of a one-stop shop. But these banners will contain different details. So, the first one would just be customer details, just some basic stuff, maybe an owner, the address, the ID. The second one here would be contacts. Now, these contact buttons, if you, once again, if you're on a mobile device, the phone button will open up your call, the email button will open up an email, just basic stuff with ease of use items that you don't have to worry about when you're on a mobile device. You can also edit these contacts. delete them. Oh, of course that pops up. Sorry about that. And you could also add a new contact. Let's close this actually. It's going to blow it up a little bit bigger, but you can add a contact, save, delete, just the basic things that you would use on the road.
Is there any way to change where it says bezel? So like it's more contextual?
I'm not sure offhand. I think that's actually in the pipeline of the development. That is a mobile app thing. So you can maybe get an answer tomorrow about that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, if you guys have questions, keep throwing them out. I don't have a set plan going here. So same thing with notes. If you have customer notes, you can see them, view them, add them, task. Yeah, and that's kind of how this started. Was we had some customers interested in a visual or Epicor CRM kind of functionality.
Can you add? Oh, you can add attachments like files.
Yeah, so this one you can pull in PDFs. You can probably pull in some other files. Right now we have it wired up for a PDF.
Can you upload them?
Yeah, so we do have the capability of uploading. I would have to look at like the logistics of that kind of. I know sometimes if you're trying to upload a 10 gigabyte file, it might take a while or something like that. But this one might be actually quite large as well here, this PDF, since it's taking a second. Oh yeah, I think this is like yeah. Yeah, Oh, of course it wants to reconnect now. We'll go back. But yeah,
So what's this connect? Is this connected to Epicor?
yeah, this version is actually connected to Epicor. And then we also have a visual version, a P21 version in the works. And then really you can hook this up to anything you want.
BRDB-wise, is it using the Epicor API or is it using a series of SQL commands?
So there's a combination for Epicor, mainly SQL. Just because it's easier to especially pull information. I think there's some BAQs for the task and the notes like that. I think Andy would answer those questions a lot better than me, but yeah. and kind of, of course, it wants to just reconnect, but kind of getting back to. I know we mentioned caching before. Now this data is all available offline. This is all cached data, and it will, when you first load the bezel, it will load up the cache information, so your sales reps can see this information without having to be online or if the internet's spotty, and then it will also refresh in the background, and that might be why this is popping because it is trying to refresh, but that and the internet here is not great, but.
So let's say I make an edit at noon.
Yeah.
And it's cache. You make an edit at 1 o'clock live.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My cache hasn't come in yet. How do you guys?
That's going to be a emergency contact.
So
Yeah. So that might be another mobile aspect of it, especially I think there's a presentation about offline mode tomorrow.
Okay.
The caching is built into the mobile platform.
You're welcome for me prepping you.
I'm personally not doing mobile, so you're going to hammer someone else with those questions. Yeah. Yes.
I'm vamping.
Yeah. So another quick one right here is Crystal Reports. I know a ton of people use Crystal Reports, and kind of, I know it was mentioned before, I keep saying that, but the first case for Bezlio was mobile Crystal Reports. So I know salespeople will want to look at different reports just on the road or on the fly without having to, do that. Of course, it's anything with a PDF, as you can kind of see, it will take a little bit, especially on a struggling internet. And I think I'm on a hotspot right now because I know the bounce internet is not great down here. But so this is a mobile version of that Crystal Reports viewer. You can page and the basics.
Now, you can't
So I believe the PDF viewer will have a print option that we could enable. Now, when you're dealing with a mobile device, you would have to probably use like an AirPrint or you know, typically mobile devices won't have a printer connected to them.
It doesn't how you get the file really. Like whenever Nick has pulled that one up, it was actually doing inline PDF viewer basically. But if you have one with the browser and pop it up as like a download, you could do that, and then you can use any sort of like send a printer, hash email, all that good stuff, or even get it in different file formats like Excel.
Yeah, definitely. Just another note real quick, you can do crystal reports with parameters. Let's see if I remember that number offhand. Maybe.
Can the crystal report pool, like I know somebody mentioned earlier about having information attached to the user who's logged in. So like say we had, you know, a location or something of where somebody is. Can the parameter pull that information to feed into the crystal report?
Yeah, so you can pass in any kind of parameter you want. You can pass in a date. If you're looking for a location, like you said, there is on the mobile app or even on the web app a latitude and longitude variable that you can pass in. There are custom properties. I can probably show you those here. So if you go into your update profile, you'll have these custom properties, and you know, like an employee ID, stuff like that. You can do really anything you want in here, but most customers will use an employee ID, especially in the sales kind of focus, where it just limits the salesperson to a select number of queries or just that data. You know, they just want to view their data, not everyone's data.
Like with the crystal reports viewer, let me keep in mind, like, so Nick is showing here is kind of a generic, one size fits all crystal report viewer, it's kind of how to detect parameters and all that sort of thing. In most circumstances, if you want something like what you're talking about, where you kind of want to bake in some of the parameters, maybe leave some of them open, what you'd most like to do is clone this crystal reports viewer and just change, you know, I don't want this parameter, just zap it, how to fill it in. So that'd be something you probably get into the.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because like one of the things that we have been thinking of is right now we have on our alphas payroll. They finish payroll, they click one report, it runs, you know, like 40 reports, it sends them to printers across the whole state. But if we could, instead of that, just have, you know, the managers go in, the report, we can build a crystal report, filter it based off of some information on their account, and then if they actually look at that, instead of just taking it off the printer in the trash can, they can do that, otherwise they don't have to waste paper anymore.
I think of all the pixels you're using. Think of the pixels.
You probably need to, if you want to do something like that, like if you're going to do a series of reports, you'd probably do it based off of like naming the parameter consistently, and then you basically say like, hey, anytime I'm running this thing, let's do this parameter, look at the user property first and fill it in.
So kind of back to that mobile app. In the past, we have done Google Maps a little bit here and there with a trip planner and a map view. This is a new iteration of that map view. This will geolocate, and I think my mobile hotspot is hitting a tower up there, but let's see if this works here. And you can pin, let me go back to that first page. You can pin customers onto that map. Now, if a salesperson is in a certain area and you know, they want to see what other customers they have in that area, they can pull up this, click on that customer, see some information. You know, this is all customizable. Right now, I just have a simple grid of basic customer info, and I also have a navigate button. So once again, that will pop open a Google Maps, and it'll navigate to that customer. This is all stuff that we've seen customers wanting or some interest in, and this is all customizable.
Are you allowed to like take those pins and identify them in different ways? So, for example, like sales dollars at certain levels, sales rep by certain identifications and that kind of stuff on there, well, too, those pins.
Yeah, so that would fall more under the Google API, and I don't know exactly what the Google API, like what kind of customization you can do with the pins. I think in the past we've had a customer do custom colors depending on pins, and you can also add more information. Right now I just have just the name of that customer on that pin, so you can list different information if you're looking for something like that.
There's a lot of it's like about changing those pen colors based on certain data conditions. We're also throwing heat maps around them to know. Use the same thing that Turnpike did.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with the map, and it really can get really crazy. But as you can see with the Ohio Turnpike, it can really turn out really good too. So this is a interesting use case. We've had a customer kind of come to us about it. If it pulls up here. So we've had a customer, it's kind of a sales rep, but it's not really at the same time, but it kind of falls into that category. A customer will go to a prospective customer and will try to quote out a project for them, like a construction project. Now, they will use old projects to reference to help quote out that new project. There's two different ways of doing it. This way is more of a project finder, and then there's another way where it's like an estimator where you'll answer a series of questions, and depending on your answer, will add to the total dollar amount. So this is just a list of previous projects. A simple grid here. You can sort, you can filter if you're looking for a specific project, and you can also search. So if you search, you can, let's see if we do CRM, and let me clear this filter out. So when you use that search, it should, sure. So it should limit those projects down. And like I said, this isn't really a salesperson use case, but it is something along those lines where if you're in front of a customer and you want to pull up some quick information, you want to quote out a project, this is a perfect Bezlio use case. Now, we recently have had some interest in some TV application. So we have a Android TV app out there, and the best way to describe it or describe a use case is if you want to display information to an office rather than just on an individual basis, we have a customer where they'll post up a TV in their war room. And that TV will just always be broadcasting sales information or like notifications or some sort of updates that they want the company as a whole to know. We can do that using Bezlio. So here, this is just a basic like sales room TV app where you'll have revenue goals and you'll have a little bit more KPI action here, where you'll have some graphs, and you can do really anything you want with this. You can do company announcements kind of on a carousel, just rotating. We have a customer doing that. But I guess I'm just here to try to open up your mind here that Bezlio isn't really just, locked into one spot. You can use it across any device, anything you really want to do with it. Yeah.
So something like that, is there some sort of refresh rate?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. So you can set automatic refreshes on the bezels, and those can be in minutes or seconds like that as well. Yep.
Yeah, I'll just mention you can set the refresh rate, but I set up a couple TVs at my company, and I just went out and bought a $30 Raspberry Pi, programmed it so that once we turn on the TV, it'll get right to that dashboard. I hide the menu bar and everything so it's full screen, and then I either have the bezel refresh every so often, or I can just code the Raspberry Pi to restart every 45 minutes. That way the TV, the web browser refresh.
Like for people that maybe that's a little bit beyond their technical ability.
Well, that was before like the Android TV thing.
Yeah.
That was like a couple weeks after we bought that scale off you guys.
Of course.
The first thing I wanted to do is do that TV, so I just like dove in.
Yeah. Yeah, we always like, again, we pick up off things like that leads our development process, but $189 for NVIDIA Shield, and it's in the Play Store, so you just install it directly from the Play Store. So it's like, that was part of the problem that we ran into in the past, is the customers wanted this, but they didn't know how to get there. They didn't even know the technology to start with. So in this case, you could say, Android TV device like an NVIDIA Shield, which I would highly recommend because it's like got plenty of power and everything else, and a Bezlio account, you know, a licensed Bezlio, and then you can have shop floor TV recording wherever you want.
Yeah, like he said, you can use it on the shop floor. You can really use it anywhere you have access to a TV.
What if you wanted to go to one set of KPIs for a certain amount of time and you want to scroll to another set of KPIs? You could do that.
Yeah, that's actually a great question as well. We do have a carousel widget out there where it's just kind of like a wrapper of HTML. So you'll put the HTML in that you want displayed, and it's going to just cycle through the different like pages of that carousel. Yep. And then you can set the timers on you know, those pages as well. So every 5 minutes or every 2 minutes, it'll cycle a new page. Yeah. So this is another interesting one that Glenn kind of was talking about, or a version of it. You know, we always start out with an idea, and that idea might branch 3 different ways with 3 different customers. Each customer wants something different. So this we have a field time tracking, and once again, it's not really sales oriented, but you can kind of view where sales can fit in here. So this employee here, this ties in with the custom property that I kind of showed you before. So each employee would have almost a different login, and you won't have to make them log in again while they're in Bezlio. It's just tied to their account. This one is more about doing jobs out in the field, and this is a big problem with, or not a big problem, but this. With caching, you don't always have to be online. So all this information is cached, and as you kind of go, as I go through it, you'll kind of see where the different steps might get cached and stuff like that. So we'll start a job, and we'll pick our fleet. You can filter, but you know, this is a relatively small list here. We'll just do a main warehouse. Equipment type, we'll do heavy equipment. Forklift is our only option. And this is where the field service technician will select what, like if they're doing maintenance on it, why are they working with this equipment. And I think Adam can definitely kind of explain a lot about this bezel. This was his baby for a while. And I'm not sure if anyone else presentation will touch upon this, but I thought this was a cool aspect for a mobile use case for Bezlio.
Is anybody use field maintenance? So it's, you know, if you're, whether you're an Epic or a video effect, you have a hassle to do. I don't know about P21, but like it can be kind of a hassle because effectively both those systems treat it as you create a job, and you have the operations for the job, then you track the labor of the job, you use materials to it. So like the thing is going to go change an oil filter, and you got to spend 15 minutes like setting up a job and releasing. It's a little bit absurd. So a lot of what this was all about was putting that whole thing on the rails, was to say like, I'm going to go change the oil, and like I don't care about how complex this is, and Epic or on the back end, just like let me fill out the minimum amount of stuff and fill in. When you're dealing with, in this case, this is for folks that large, fracking industry-based thing. So for them, like tracking down the piece of equipment they're working on was, you need to go through a wizard because it's like there's so many steps to kind of get you down to the thing that you're on. So that's a very big fleet. That was like kind of geographically narrowing it down. Then you're saying equipment type. It's like, okay, am I dealing with a generator, or am I dealing with a tank or something like that? And then you get down to specific equipment and saying what you're doing. So it's kind of just implementing a wizard-based approach. But again, if you saw what was happening behind the scenes in the ERP system, it's just incredibly complex.
So this is creating that job. It's not looking for a job. It's just saying.
That's right. It's creating it, releasing it, adding it. It's actually when it figures out what operations to make available on that job, it's deriving them based off a template from another field maintenance job. We use department templates, so it's finding them based off of is there a template for that exact equipment ID? If not, is there one for that equipment type out there? If not, designate a kind of generic one to use. And these are the operations here that we have tracking the time. These are the actual operations on the job. So just tap onto them and say you're working on it, basically.
So yeah, when those operations change, you just log back into Bezlio, tap on the next one, and move on.
It also gets into issuing materials here as well. This one's kind of a little bit, this particular, the job template decides what materials get presented for it. So if you're changing oil, like it's going to be asking you how many quarts of oil do you use and what oil filter do you use, like how many did you use. But this one also, this example of this customer had a concept of, I think they call them P cards, which is basically like they give them a credit card to go buy whatever the heck they need. And because of that, they need to just tell them what the description of it was and how many they use, because it's like, and then they kind of fill in there.
Yeah, so I think that's all I got to show. But is there any other questions or any comments? Yeah.
All right, so I don't have anything particular to this presentation, but, and I might have mentioned it before, but I'm not sure I did, or who knows. Wouldn't it be cool if my user could say, the guys on the floor have no idea how data interacts with each other at all. So my supervisor on the floor says, okay, so I want to look at all my labor tickets today. And he can take something, if I pre-assign, he's allowed to see 3 tables. Say labor tickets, a work order, and maybe inventory. And he drags one of those over here. And then out of those tables, he can see 4 fields. Maybe an employee name, how long he worked on. And what if he has an idea that, I wonder how this relates to my budget. Am I allowed to see it? And drags it in. So you know how Crystal reported the smart link stuff? And I don't think Bezlio can do this yet, but let the end user decide what he wants to see at the time he wants to see it. Because most of the time, at least what this seems like is, I as the administrator actually have to set up a template. But what if the user can just do that on the fly? Because those guys will have way better ideas than I will. And they may tell me what they want, and I'm only kind of trying to guess, okay, so how does this relate? But if they can actually drag some bubbles across there and say, yeah, now this, I want to see what Jimmy's doing right now. That's what I wanted. But I don't have time to track John down. It takes me 8 hours to make a stupid report, give me an access, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I don't know if that's in the works, if you're close to that, or...
We have something like that, which is called the pivot tables.
It's similar to, just like a pivot table.
So you do need to define the pool of data available for you when we get that. Now, you might look at that and say, oh, that's just one query, but Bezlio does have a concept of joining lots of different data together. It's actually the underlying technology is called SQL, but the way it's presented in Bezlio, it's a data subscription merge. So one of the demos I do sometimes for customers like that is I have Salesforce data and I have Excel data. So I've got my sales budgets in Excel and I've got the open opportunities in Salesforce. So you can basically create a merge data subscription, which basically takes the two and put them together and apply that as the basis for the pivot table. All that said though, this does kind of get almost to the crux of one of the things that we've kind of just discovered with Bezlio and we found out ourselves is that Bezlio is not a data analytics platform. There are, when you look at Tableau, Power BI, those tools are actually made for that sort of self-service sort of thing. Where we find what Bezlio is actually solving a greater niche for is more when you need that row-level data and you don't have kind of self-exploration user. You just kind of want the against it and all that kind of stuff. If you have anyone to add to that too.
Yeah, no, we looked at that approach, like that's what they call like an ad hoc analysis tool
Yeah.
typically. And we started looking, we definitely looked deep into that. We ended up not going that way, largely because like your Tableau and stuff like that, that has a typical requirement that your data is in a multi-dimensional cube structure so that it understands how the things connect to each other. So I just talk about this with people, like they think that you buy Tableau and you just install it on your system. You're like, hey, we've got Tableau. But it's like, the reality is that for most people, you data warehouse first. When you're in your data warehouse, you come up with these multi-dimensional architectures that describe your data, and that allows your users to do those ad hoc queries against it. And we started getting into it. One of the things we didn't want to do was build a new system where somebody had to learn a new technology like that, because that prevented other users in the past. There's technology like EPM. There was one that Business Objects had for a long time, and we never saw them take off because it was a big requirement to say that, like, not only does IT have to learn this technology, but the business community in general has to come together to agree on terminology, and that was such a big problem, like gross profit. Like, gross profit was different if you talk to shop floor, if you talk to accounting, if you talk to sales. They all think it's different. So that made these projects very long as well. So we really started getting into it. That's when we kind of started making the demarcation and saying, like, it's a cool technology, but I think it's something that the world needs a better version of, but that's not really what Bezlio was trying to do.
So, in the operating system like Windows and Mac OS, you can prohibit, if you're an administrator, you can prohibit permissions from different users. So maybe a common, like in the middle of his idea and your idea, is having different types of users and having like one person have permission but not 100% permission. So being able to create their own dashboard on the floor, but not being able to see everybody's data, not being able to edit, the website
And that's already built into Bezlio.
Okay.
So what happens is you share a credential to a user, so you can give them different permission levels.
Okay.
They never know the logins to the back-end system, like SQL or anything like that, but you'll say this user's allowed to use this credential. You can turn it off with a click of a checkbox. And one of the things is IT can kill it at any time they want to.
Okay.
But that does allow you to limit those permissions by saying, I'm going to limit what credentials you're allowed to use.
Okay.
We don't create our own security system. We allow you to use the security systems that are in the system, the software you're already building.
So a good structure with having like a floor being able to do their own mini,
Yeah, and there is an advanced grid designer so that you can do some of that ad hoc reporting and querying. That's just not an area that we leaned as heavy into because we've seen it not work so many other times. Now there's no, obviously you can build a better product, but when you come up with the idea of it auto-linking of non-like data sources, becomes a very, very difficult technological problem for a computer to figure out. So that's where we give the tools to join the data in by hand, some simple analysis tools, but again, we're not trying to be like if you're a data scientist, like Bezlio isn't your platform. That's where Tableau comes in.
Yeah.
But for most people, what we're finding is that they're looking for more transactional information.
Yeah.
They're looking to redefine their business processes. That's the software that Bezlio is.
Yeah, this is just a casual data stream front end, visual.
I mean,
Not.
I get what you're trying to say. It's casual for data analysis, but obviously it's also way more complex because you could make these whole apps, employee apps and things like that. That's more of where our market is, and the areas that we're trying to focus in is things are a little bit more complex than that.
Yeah, it solves an issue that you're.
We'd like to think so.
We're closer to the collection side and the analytics side. We have the data lifecycle aspect of, most of the problems you see that we've talked about is like actually about inputting, collecting, and presenting is certainly part of it. I think that we're closer to like Crystal on the presentation layer than Tableau, which is like, cube sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think that, the real power to Bezlio is, like Nick ran through that fleet equipment management thing, is the ability to write your own interfaces. It's like, I make this, I talk to about people less than a time, it's like, we use these manufacturing systems, and I would swear to you, the people that wrote the software have never done manufacturing. The systems are just nonsensical. Like, there's way too many options, the screens are way too populated, there's all of these things. Instead of being able to look at this and say, you know what, in Bezlio, like, that screen may not work for you guys, but you know what, it was perfect for that company, because that's how they did manufacturing. That's how they did their field service piece to it. So what we're trying to do is give people the tools to build your own interfaces that match your business processes. Because this is, I'm sorry, I'll just go off for 1 second, but it's like, these ERP vendors would come in, and one of the things I hated, that they would always come in, and say, all right, well, we're going to buy this software, and then we're going to implement it using best practices. It was like, according to who? Like, best practices are the same if you manufacture, like, bearings, and if you manufacture, like, a cargo ship. Like, those are two different things, but they're running on the same systems, and you can't implement the same services. So what we did as consultants is when we would go on site, the first thing we looked at is saying, you know what, identify the areas that make you unique. And those are the areas that you lean into. Those are the areas that you really focus on, is take the parts that make your manufacturing, that take your business unique, and highlight those with processes. And the rest of the stuff, AR and AP and things like that, that's best practices. But the rest of it is do not, gloss over the fact that, each company that makes something, they form their own unique niche in the market. They have their own unique processes that got them there. And Bezlio allows you to take those and put those into a system. And that to me is what real power is.